Do-do-do-do-do. Gotta bury Houdini and put some sand on top so that he'll suffocate. Anytime you torment your friends by burying them underground, it's always fun to add some gravity blocks to induce some panic when they decide to dig out. Welcome to the 9th episode of the Build Comp here in Terra Nova. It's time to hold our breath because we got a brand new update. The 1.21.70 just dropped, and with it came some cactus flowers, other foliage, and new skins for mobs. I haven't really done any research on the new stuff, so I don't even know how we can collect these things. The first lesson would be not to let the cactus flowers fall on the cactus. This time let's just try to break out the cactus itself, and it drops the flower. Super cool. Now you may have noticed that these new flowers and things have been in the game for a few weeks now. And really that just shows how long it takes me to edit these videos together and publish them. But first impressions, I love the cactus flowers, and I hate the beacon beams. They increase the render distance on the beacon beam, so now you can no longer hide them underground, which is really frustrating. I was hoping beyond hope that tinted glass would at least make the beacon beam disappear, but apparently it counts as a solid block or whatever and actually blocks the beacon effect. This is really frustrating. I mean, like, all this really does is remove our ability to hide these ugly things. If you want to build with beacon beams, well, you just make the beacon up high and it would be fine. But if you want to hide them and still have the effect over a large area, your only option is to, like, clock pistons on and off above the beacons to block the beams, but not the effects. And that's super laggy. Who wants to do that? So I am just going to add a lever to some pistons that will turn off all of my beacons when I actually want to look at what I've built in an unobstructed way. You know, it's just really frustrating when they remove a feature without giving us any sort of compensation. But whatever, ugly beacon beams are not a huge deal. Plus, these cactus flowers are super cool, and since I live in the desert, I have access to tons of them. So I'm going to start selling those and all the sniffer seeds that have been building up, and I'm just going to add some more item frames to my store. It's become kind of like a meme at this point, to just make my igloo as cluttered as I possibly can. Plus I got to display the goods so that you know what's for sale. But I really like these firefly bushes. They're a really nice shape and color and size. These are really great terraforming decoration. I really like them. But what do you think about them, little bunny? Do you like the firefly effects? We got a little bunny friend that someone tamed next to my igloo. Elephants and bunnies and fireflies, oh my. Before I get to work, let's go pester Houdini. He put in an order for bookshelves, and I would be more than happy to sell. I need some diamonds to feed my family. But these are the final days of the competition, so everyone's trying to wrap things up and bust things out. Looks like he's gotten to detailing, building cool floors and chandeliers. He looks just like a king on his brand new throne. All hail, King Houdini, feeder of the peasants. I am but a lowly craftsman, my lord, so that steak will keep my family fed for many moons. Thank you, thank you. I hope that the quality of these bookshelves are worthy enough for thy books in thy library. But not only can I make some diamonds selling bookshelves, but I can also show him the brand new cactus flower, because I don't think he's seen it yet. And it's really cool that you can place these on top of any block. That's more spectacular than a diamond shower, because we don't have very many decorations. You know, for a building game, our decorations suck. But they finally added a brand new one that's pink and crazy and can be placed on any block. They also added these brand new bushes that you can duplicate with bone meal. You need silk touch to harvest them. But they just look like grass. I mean, they're not very impressive at all. But these firefly bushes, you don't need silk touch for. You can duplicate them with bone meal, just like the bush, and it actually looks cool. I highly approve of the fireflies and the cactus flower. Being able to place this flower on any block is just mind-blowing. It's so amazing to have yet another decoration. And with this flower, I have usurped the throne and claimed it as my own. I am now King OmLedu. Speaking of decoration, I need to get to work. I have not even gotten close to adding details and decoration yet. We gotta bust out this castle, this roof, so that I can start on some sort of interior, some sort of decoration, and some sort of terraforming. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling farther and farther behind. Like the back section of my castle doesn't even exist, neither does the majority of the roof or the center tower. I'm definitely nowhere close to working on details and interiors and things like that. And part of that is just time restrictions. Like the last build comp where I built the skulls, I was cracking out. I mean, I would like wake up, log into the realm. I built like sky farms and all sorts of other things other than my base. Whereas in this one, I've only managed to log a couple hours a day for the most part. And even then, I spend a lot of that time running in circles or AFK. I've even been slower to upload videos. I'm still editing video for the majority of the day, but these take more time to actually construct. And then I'm also not designing any tutorials or farms at the moment either, so it's a struggle trying to balance the time that you have with your goals. So I've really been trying to streamline everything that I do and try to do things as efficiently as possible, try to cut corners when I can, try to avoid exploring or doing things that just aren't related to this project. Because 6 weeks is not a whole lot of time, and I am running out of it. And that's something else that we can discuss, right? Is like, when you have a specific goal in mind, whether it's a competition, or you just find yourself wanting to finish projects, or build something huge, or even in real life, like writing an essay, or doing your homework, or learning a new skill. We can get lost in irrelevant things. Watching TV, or in Minecraft, we could get lost for hours exploring trial chambers, or building farms that we never actually need or use, or building starter bases that we don't actually need. Things that don't help us toward our goal. Time is a resource. In a competition, you have a limited amount of it. But even outside of a competition, we still have time as a resource. There's only so much time that we can play or that we can work on independent projects or skills. We only have so much time before we get bored and burned out. Doing the same thing or even thinking about it or even just procrastinating on a project long enough can burn you out on that project without you even working on it. So time is a resource. And if we spread that resource too thin and do too many things in too many areas, we might not be happy with the end result of the goal that we were actually trying to accomplish. Especially because goals can actually change as you work on them. Like the entire point of this castle was just to give me a viewing platform for the piranha plant. But it ended up being way bigger than I thought it would be. And now I have a viewing point for the entire surrounding landscape because we're up at Y level 204. I mean, it takes me 3 rockets just to get to the top of this tower. So that's another thing to keep in mind, that when you have a time-sensitive goal, be sure to account for the unexpected. I didn't expect the castle to be this big. Or like we could get a flat tire on the way to a deadline, or we could get the sniffles and be sick for a day or two. You never know what could happen, so always give yourself extra resources, extra time. Don't wait till the last minute. Here we have a perfect example of this concept. In the 1.21.70 update, Mojank pooped the bed. I mean, the worst possible thing they could have done, they broke block placement in a block placing game for multiplayer servers. Like they changed how the client talks to the server or something, and now we can no longer place blocks in a block placing game. Not only does this severely impact gameplay in a negative way, but it also shows just how little Mojank actually cares. That they're not even willing to test play these updates. They don't care about the players at all. Because if a single person in this massive corporation had have just pulled this update up on a server with no one else online, just them inside of a multiplayer server, they would have noticed within 30 seconds that, oh, we can place blocks through other blocks. Oh, we can't quick place more than 2 blocks at a time. We can't pillar up, we can't bridge, we can't quick build walls. In fact, if we just click a little bit too fast, The player teleports backwards, rubber banding all the blocks that they've placed, and creates invisible blocks that then cause the player to teleport when they come into contact with them. And I get that bug fixing can be hard. Like, who would have ever thought that if you push sand with a piston exactly simulation distance away above an end rod, and then you log in and out, that it'll duplicate sand? Like, no way could you ever expect a team of testers to discover those kinds of things. But something as blatant as block placement in a block placing game shows that either they didn't take 30 seconds to test the update before they launched it to millions of people, or even worse, they did test it and just did not care how it affects millions of people. Which honestly wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Mojank has never cared about the players, right? They don't even care about the game that they own, even though it's the #1 played game of all time. I mean, it's the most special game demographically ever created. And yet they show no love or respect to this super special game that they just happen to own. And they definitely show no love or respect to the players who love this game. All they care about is reskinning a pig so that they can make a quick buck selling plushies at Walmart. It's just so sad and devastating as an example of how greedy and incompetent humans can actually manage to be. But as always, there's nothing we can do. We just have to deal with it and hope that things don't get any worse. But I learned a new trick that will save me tons of time that I can't believe I never thought of before. And that is using the spyglass to look and see how I built the thing I'm trying to copy. Rather than having to fly over there and check Y levels and try to memorize patterns, I can use the spyglass to just look and see what I did on the other side. Poof, big brain. I can't believe I never thought of doing this before. But this will save tons and tons of time and tons of rockets as well. I'll take any sort of time saver that I can get my hands on at this point, because I am super far behind, and this is making me waste unfathomable amounts of time. So instead of working on my castle, I'm going to try some other things and see if I can find something that I can work on that isn't as affected by this horrible nonsense. But really, I mean, this goes back to what I talked about earlier. I should have planned for Mojank's incompetence. I should have done more when the game was stable. I should have made my plans smaller, just in case that they pooped the bed. You know, because it's not like this is the first time that they've broken the game, but this is by far the worst. Just planting a row of crops or netherwort, only like half of them actually get planted. So everything I do crop related is going to take me double the amount of time. All the work that I need and everything. I even tried crouching to see if it will let me place the crops if I slow things down, and that doesn't even have an effect on it. It still only plants about 60% of the crops you're trying to plant. And since I'm building out of red brick and I need netherwort, I mean, this is just killing me. Not only that, but placing blocks is even worse, because it's not just skipping 50% of them, it's also preventing you from quick placing as well. So it's like 10 times as slow, not just half the speed. So instead of building, instead of farming, I'm gonna just terraform, I guess, and just pray they put up some sort of band-aid on the game-breaking nonsense before I get done. I'm using moss because the dirt is kind of ugly. Since I'm in a hot, dry biome, the grass looks kind of dead. So I'm using moss because it's nice and lush and vibrant and green. So I just covered everything in dirt or stone, things that I can convert into moss, and then just converted it into place. Because I definitely don't want to build a moss farm or mine out moss elsewhere just for terraforming. But pair the game-breaking updates with game-breaking lag. I mean, it's like laughable. I mean, just look at this. This is unplayable. Like, if Notch had made half the mistakes that Mojank has, none of us would even know what Minecraft is. It would have died in the early days, in beta. But because he cared so much to make this beautiful thing, we all fell in love with it. And even after he sold it, we still love his creation. So we just put up with the abusive relationship we have with the new owners because we were already in love. But to be fair, not everything you see here is strictly because of Mojank. We actually have a player, whether intentionally or not, who is generating tons of game-breaking lag. In fact, one of the contestants even dropped out of the competition because of it. I mean, how sad is that? Their experience was so ruined by someone else that they just had to give up. And that brings up, when you're playing multiplayer on realms and servers, remember that everything you do affects the people around you. You are not playing single player, and you can't play multiplayer the same way that you would a solo world. Or you might be ruining other people's experience. Like, don't play with your render distance set above 16. Don't build crazy unoptimized farms. Don't cluster farms together. Don't create laggy areas. And when other people mention that the lag is making them sad or it's unplayable, don't just ignore them. Try to fix it. You might not even be aware that you're lowering the quality of other people's experience. So always be open and communicate. We're all in this together, trying to have fun as a group. I did notice that the back part of my castle was off by a block, so that's what I was fixing a second ago with that diagonal section. But now it's time to add some final details and call it done. At least the basic shape and structure of the roof and castle is now officially complete. And this is the coolest roof I have ever built in my entire Minecraft play stuff. I'm super happy with how it turned out. But now it's time to get to the details and the entrances and the interior, as well as some external details and texture and stuff. The castle is a little plain Jane at the moment, and we want it to pop. So wish me luck, because I lost a ton of time because of the 0.70 update. So I'm really nervous about what all I can actually complete by the end of the competition. But I am super duper happy with the general shape and structure of everything, and I am ecstatic about how the roof turned out. As we talked about in the last few episodes, I've always self-defeated when it came to roofs. I always told myself I suck at them and I can't do them, and sometimes I would just even avoid building roofs altogether and just stick a statue on top of a building because of how uncomfortable I was building roofs. But after forcing myself, especially in a competitive setting, I am super happy with it, and I feel more confident about roofs. But that's all we got for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, share, and subscribe. Always remember that you are totally awesome, but above all, don't forget to have fun. Bye-bye.